Well, that's not something that I expected at all from EXO, and I think that's a really, really good thing. Hey everybody, how's it going? I've got a brand new music video reaction / review coming at you today, and this one is for Sing For You by EXO. It looks like it's going to be some sort of ballad, but then again, the TTS song massively faked us out just a few days ago, so I'm definitely going to check it out and see how it sounds. Here we go.
낡은 기타를 들어 하지 못한 고백을 혹은 고집스레
Really a ballad. Very, very intimate.
노래 하나 만든 척
It's like an unplugged session, all acoustic instruments and just voices so far.
그냥 들어요. I'll sing for you. 너무 사랑하지만 사랑한단 말 안 해. 어색해 자존심 허락 안 해. 오늘은 용기 내서 난 말할 테.
Wonderful sounding acoustic guitar, some great play in there too.
I'll sing for you. The way you cry, the way you smile. 내겐 얼마나 큰 의미인 걸까. 하고픈 말, 놓쳐버린 말. 고백할 테지만 그냥 들어요. I'll sing for you, sing for you.
Really nice chord progressions complementing where the melody line and the vocals are going. Really clever stuff, I like that.
조금 우습죠 내겐 그대밖에 없는데 가끔은 남보다 못한 나. 사실은 그대 품에 머리카락을 부비고 안기고 싶은 건데 말이죠. The way you cry, the way you smile. 내겐 얼마나 큰 의미인 걸까. 돌아서면 후회했던 말 사과할 테지만 그냥 들어요. I'll sing for you, sing for you. 아무렇지 않은
The production on this is really staying out of the way of the song. It's always kind of hard to do. And it also is really hard for the artist because it's exposing everything they're doing. There's nothing to hide behind. There's very minimal like time-based effects on these vocals at all. It's just very raw, right in front of your face, like you're sitting in front of them just singing.
The way you cry, the way you smile. 내겐 얼마나 큰 의미인 걸까. 하고픈 말, 놓쳐버린 말. 고백할 테지만 좀 어색하지.
Such a nice little resolution there.
그냥 들어요. I'll sing for you, sing for you.
Really smooth harmonies and backing vocals here.
I sing for you.
And it looks like that's it. Well, that's not something that I expected at all from EXO, and I think that's a really, really good thing. When have we really heard EXO up to this point exposed, just being musicians, just singing, performing in a very, very simple, raw, direct way. Yeah, there's been some album cuts, and I think they do some things live where it's more stripped down like this, but think of the level of production on pretty much every single EXO song. And I'm not saying that as a negative at all. I don't think things with tons of production on them are inherently bad. They can be bad, but they can also be extremely good. But the overall amount of production and little elements and different layers of things in most EXO songs is generally extremely complex, extremely high level, and extremely involved. So yes, you're hearing them perform, you're hearing them sing on their releases, but there's just so much going on to enhance it and make it awesome and everything else that something like this is pretty much the absolute opposite of that. Now, when I'm talking about high level of production and a lot of production, I may have mixed the terms a little bit because this song has a very small amount of kind of production tricks and layers and other musical elements within it. There really aren't that many vocal effects, like time-based effects like delays and reverbs, just really minimal, nice sounding stuff. But there's not like tons of detune and 3 different phasers going on in the background and like 6 different long delays ping-ponging around and then a bunch of different reverbs and filter effects. There's not really anything like that. The main elements, the vocals and the acoustic guitar, are very, very raw, and we really get to hear what EXO can do just as pure singing performers. And the other thing that I don't want people to get the wrong impression about what I'm saying in this video, this song has an incredibly high level of production. The amount of skill needed to make something that sounds like this, even being a little bit more simple with less layers, less production tricks in it, is extremely high. Doing stuff like this is still extremely difficult. What I am saying though is the amount of things they use to enhance the production, whether it's effects or production tricks or things in the arrangement with other instruments occurring, other beats, the amount of those elements being put into this song are extremely minimal, just keeping it with basically the acoustic guitar and vocals and then some harmonies throughout the entire track. Now, obviously, SM has a top-notch producing team all the way through. Any of the people they work with are always top-notch, no matter who they work with. And obviously, they pulled off a really high-quality production in this song itself. But there's the other element that's very, very important in a song like this, and that's the artists. It doesn't matter how good the production is, whether the song is very, very producing complex or whether it's more simple and there's less elements in it. If the artist can't pull off the song, there's really nothing that a producer can do to make it magical. They might be able to shape it into something fairly nice, but there's just not going to be the magic there unless it's there from the artist. And with a song like this, there are a lot less elements to hide behind if there are any deficiencies in the singing for EXO. They are extremely exposed here with their vocals because of the combination of a fantastically produced track, meaning all of the little details and nuances of whatever they do right or wrong will come right through to the listener. And then of course the fact that the arrangement is very, very stripped down to being just vocals and guitar. So I thought EXO pulled it off really well. It wasn't the most exciting track in the world for me because, I'm not really a ballad person. I like songs that kind of get my blood pumping and are really high energy. But even as a ballad, they had some really cool and interesting chord changes that kept me entertained. I really enjoyed those. And also the quality of EXO's voices and their performance I thought was really good. And so even for somebody like me who's not 100% into ballads all the time, this was one that I could definitely still listen to. So anyway, let's listen to this one again, and I'll try to point out some of the other things that I was noticing along the way. Here we go. It's just a really nice, well-balanced acoustic guitar sound. It definitely sounds like it's close mic'd. Again, so it's like your ear is right on the instrument, just like vocals are usually close mic'd within inside of 1.5 feet. If you really think about that, it's like sticking your ear right on an instrument or someone's mouth when they're singing, because the microphone is effectively acting like your ear in the studio. Definitely gives things a really close, immediate, intimate kind of sound usually. I'm listening on my events here and I'm barely hearing like any reverb even. I'll sing for you. The way you cry, the way you smile. And it sounds like they left a little bit of dynamics in the vocals too. I mean, the human voice is one of those things that even on kind of a stripped down performance or recording, usually there's still a lot of compression on it just because of the natural kind of volume variations. It sounds very weird if you don't compress it. But it sounds like they did manage to keep, some of the dynamics in the vocals of this song, which really fits with the overall mood and kind of quiet, close, like small performance venue kind of feel. They did allow that to come through in the recording without just flattening out the vocals completely. See, there's a little bit of reverb, but the overall aesthetic of like the voices and how they were produced sounds very, very raw, very natural, minimally processed, even though I'm sure there's quite a bit of EQ and some compression going on, maybe a couple other things, but the overall end result is very, very natural sounding. Really like the texture they got with those background vocals too. It sounds like they cut out maybe a lot of the low end, and it's mixed just brilliantly in the track where you barely can pick out the fact that there's like a chorus singing behind the lead, but you can definitely hear that it's there, and it's providing like some tonal textures with the chords they're singing, and then that cool resolution thing. But if you try to stop and actually listen, like to hear individual people singing in that backing part, you can't really pick it out. It's just a nice tone that's all blended together. So that's just another thing that EXO had to do really well in the studio, actually recording all those parts in. And then of course the production had to complement that, so it just all came together really nicely in the end.
The way you cry, the way you smile, 내겐 얼마나 큰 의미인 걸까.
This is some great singing. I also like the fact that they didn't overdo it with like the ballad kind of sappy singing style. They didn't change their voices and make them, super sad and really heavy vibrato or anything like that. They didn't try to affect their voices in a weird way. It just sounds like they're singing calmly and naturally. It's very good stylistic kind of choices by EXO on this with how they performed it. And that's it again. And lots of snow, which is nice. I actually don't have snow right now where I live, which is kind of strange for December, but I'm sure it'll hit us anytime now. So it does feel a little bit weird to see all the snow because I'm not quite in a full-out snow mood yet just because of where I live. But yeah, I think this was actually a necessary release from EXO because it really does show that they can do a lot more than just one type of really intense pop music. They can actually sing really well, and if you couldn't get that from their really intense pop music, that's kind of unfortunate, but I know a lot of people seem to think that that's all just like pieced together by robots, and basically auto-tune just performs the entire part for the singers, and this is the only type of song that will convince some people that, a group can actually sing, sadly. So that's kind of the reality of some fans, and I think this is great because it does show those fans too, and everybody else, if you couldn't notice somehow that EXO could sing really well from like Machine or any of their other songs, maybe this will finally convince you. And I did listen to the Chinese version. I have liked some of the Chinese versions better of certain EXO songs and actually some Super Junior songs too. But in this particular case, for this song, I did like the Korean version. Just kind of objectively, I felt like the lyrics flowed a little bit better. And I know that is kind of subjective, but just going through and like trying to count all the places where the lyrics seemed to flow really nicely and fit in, it seemed like there were more of those areas by quite a bit in the Korean version this time than the Chinese version. And also, I think the emotion that came through in the Korean version, just with the singing and how they were articulating things and really putting themselves into it, came off a little bit more intensely than the Chinese version, at least for me. So anyway, I actually thought it was a pretty cool release, even though it was a ballad. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you could like, comment, and subscribe, that would be awesome. Sharing it on Facebook, Tumblr, Twitter, forums, all that stuff really helps me out, and I'll see you guys next time.